Welcome to Season 4 of She Lancer, Mom Entrepreneur with VoiceOver Angela. I'm your host, Angela. I'm a full-time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator, and this podcast are the audio versions of my live Q&A chats on YouTube. If you'd like to be part of the live Q&A chats, come on over to my YouTube channel, VoiceOver Angela. I'm live every Tuesday at 12 p.m. EST. We talk about voiceover, the business of voiceover, audiobooks, and so much more. Find more information on my website, voiceoverangela.com. Enjoy today's episode. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. I appreciate you spending some time with me today. If you're new here, welcome. We appreciate you being here. My name is Angela. I am a full-time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator, and my channel is dedicated to those of you just getting started out in this wonderful world of voiceover and audiobook narration. And through my channel, I share with you things that I do every day in my own voiceover business that may help you to get past some of the things that hold us back, right? Which is kind of the topic for today anyway. If you're not new here, then you know that every week we have a poll. And again, today's topic and the poll: how often do you feel stuck or overwhelmed with your voiceover business? Gosh, I just met, what was it, about 4 days ago on March 1st. I'm full-time for 4 years. It's my 4-year anniversary. I missed it a couple days ago. And then 2 years prior to that. So I started just about 6 years ago. And throughout that time, I've been meeting different people and now working with more and more people. And through the course of that time, I can tell you that most of the people that I've talked to have been in this position at one time or another, and myself included, have been stuck with the overwhelm and what we now call the procrastilearning stage in building this business. Because there's a lot, there's a lot to do, especially in the beginning with, getting the training and understanding your DAW, which microphone to get, how to set up your recording space, your website, your demos, the different pay-to-plays or freelance marketplaces that you're on, right? There's just not only that, but then you have, how do you invoice people? How do the taxes work? There's just so much, and it's easy to sort of take a step back, to pump the brakes a little bit and go, whoa, this is a lot. I don't know how to do on any of this stuff. Maybe you're at the stage where you get some stuff done, and then you go, okay, well, I've got all of this done. Good job, me. But I can't move forward in going live with my business because I don't have this, or I don't know about this, or I'm not quite comfortable with this yet, whatever it is, yet, ... So therefore, I'm just going to hold back until I do that. That is basically the definition of procrastilearning, right? You're procrastinating because you still need to learn something, right? And I think we've all been there at some point. So how do you get past that? Because let me just backtrack and say, I think we do that to ourselves because of fear for the most part. I think it's fear of success. It's fear of failure. It's fear of, especially if this is something that you've always wanted to do. If this is something that you've thought about doing forever and you finally decided to take the steps to make it happen and to create it and to make it real, and then you get to the point where you're ready to go, or you feel that you're good enough or satisfied enough to at least step forward. And then you go, what if I fail? What if this does take off? Do I have the time? How do I handle this? How do I talk with customers? So it's a lot easier for us to stay in our comfort zone of telling ourselves that we need to learn this, or I need this equipment, or I need to do this, right? Whatever it is. So how do you get past that? Well, I've brought a couple of things today that might help you get past that. And it's essentially what I did because again, I've been there too. I think I'm a little bit more um being an Aries, I'm a little bit more headstrong, I think. So but I still did this too. Um but what you can do is when you get to that point, when deep down you know you have everything you need to get started, but that little voice in your head's telling you, no, 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 you need to do this or you need to, whatever it is, right? You say, okay, I'm going to count to 5. And then when I get to 5, I'm going to say, act. I'm just going to put blinders on and I'm going to do it. So when you get to that point, just slowly start to count. You can close your eyes if you want to and think of positive things, right? And we'll get to positive reframing in a minute because that's another thing that we need to do. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, act, right? Almost no hesitation after 5. And then you do it. Doesn't matter what it is or what the voices are saying, you just do it. You act, you do it. And I think that is something that could help you get past that barrier that we create for ourselves most of the time, right? We'll talk about positive reframing in a minute because that's also very important. But I wanted to check the poll really quick before I get too far off on a tangent. I haven't even checked the poll yet. Okay, so we have 26 votes. So the question again was, how often do you feel stuck or overwhelmed with your voiceover business? And it looks like 37% of you are saying daily, which I think is pretty normal, right? So don't beat yourself up if you're in the daily column. It does get easier as you go, right? The more you learn, the more you practice, the more your comfort level with what you're doing increases, the more confident you're going to be with just about anything that you're doing. So a daily, imposter syndrome, daily procrastilearning, daily overwhelm is normal, especially in the beginning, right? So don't beat yourself up about that. 28% of you said weekly, 21% of you said monthly, and 17% of you said hardly ever. Now, I'm really surprised about that because, like I said before, I've been doing this for 6 years now, and I would say I'm probably in the monthly category, maybe even sometimes popping into the weekly. But the trick is to tell yourself and remind yourself of how far you've come from day one, and to tell yourself, okay, I've already done all of this. I've invested all this time. I've invested all this money, all of this learning. I still want to do this. Why would I stop now? What if tomorrow is the day that I get that message or that email that says, hey, I really love your voice and I think it would be perfect for this project, right? Something that you really wanted to do. Why deny yourself that opportunity by stopping? Right? And that goes along again with the positive reframing, which we'll get into in a minute, but I'm trying not to get sidetracked. So 37% of you said daily, 27 weekly, 20% monthly, and then 17% hardly ever. I really envy you hardly ever people. I'm surprised by that, actually. I thought that number would be very small. Not that 17% isn't, but okay, let's hop over to the comments really quick, and then we'll talk about some positive. I'm hoping that we'll get something in here that we'll start talking about the positive reframing. Caesar is first in. Hey, Caesar, good to see you. I reckon it's less overwhelm for me, although there's plenty of that too. But I'm definitely a victim of procrastinating, and it has taken a long time for me to realize I'm actually ready to rock. Yeah, and it's normal. Right? It's normal. Once you take that first step forward, the confidence in that singular step can be everything. So, and that's usually the hardest step, right? That's the hardest step, that first step. But you have to take it if you're going to move forward. I used to think I was immune to imposter syndrome. Turns out I'm a veritable poster child for it. I got out of a psychology damaging work environment that still haunts me to this day. Same. I think we can all, for the most part, say that, right? Trauma, emotional trauma. Caesar said joining Platinum was life changing and taught me that it was okay to fail, to make mistakes, and not to be very good at the start, and to not be very good at the start, and get better as you go. So this is the year I make my mark. Finally, I'm very proud of you, Caesar. That said, hello, Angela. Hello, everyone. I would like to say that I can now call myself a voice actor and sound engineer without cringing inwardly, because I've laid my imposter syndrome to rest. That's fabulous. Fabulous. Wait, no, he isn't resting. He's dead. Hey, Jim, give me a shovel before the thing stinks up the place. Of course, you had to throw in your funny. Rustic Hillbilly says there. Good morning, all. Good morning, Rustic Hillbilly. Facebook user, anybody else here? I'm sorry, I'm not sure who this is because last time I checked, my Facebook was still down. Did anybody else have that knee jerk? Oh my God, I've been hacked as soon as you opened your Facebook. I don't know. It says that it's streaming to Facebook, but I can't log in. So, although I haven't checked, of course, in the last 15 minutes. Interesting. So if you are one of the lucky ones to be in Facebook, then please include your name so I know who you are because it just says Facebook user. Bear338 says, LOL, Caesar. I am more frustrated than overwhelmed. I started my studio build Sunday, only to realize I am one moving blanket short. So I'm having to wait until Friday to finish it. Well, in the interim, you could just use, a blanket or a duvet or, something else. Again, it doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to sound good, right? Facebook user says, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Facebook user. Writer Dude says, good morning, everyone. Bear338 says, good morning, Angela. Good morning, Bear. Caesar says to Bear, LOL, I've had moments like that myself, like taking the wrong YouTube advice. And that's a good point to kind of piggyback on because I've said it a million times, but there's advice on pretty much anything all over YouTube, right? Everybody's got an opinion. If we're talking specifically voice actors, voiceover, audiobook narration, right? There's a ton of people sharing information for free online, particularly on YouTube. And that's where I got a lot of my inspiration and information in the very beginning when I was in my research phase, right? But everybody has an opinion on what to do. Some people are very strongly worded about what they think is the right way to go. And you being brand new to this and don't know what is right, you don't know that there are so many variables to this or so many different paths to this. And then you take that one single advice without hearing any others and go, okay, well, this is the right way. I totally understand that. But I would say before you take anybody's advice, including mine, listen to a bunch of different perspectives because you might not want to do it the same way that I did. You might not take the same path that I did. You might want to listen to a bunch of different people and then take that information and then make your own decisions and go your own path to where you want to go in this industry, because there are so many different places, so many different sub niches and subgenres and paths to get there, right? So many different things we can do in voiceover and narration. So listen to everybody's advice. You never know, even if you don't agree with what they're saying, they might have a nugget or two within their video that could help you along your path at some point. So listen to them all, take it all in, and then choose your own path. Make your own educated decisions moving forward. Masonry Construction says, congrats on Fort. Well, thank you. I had totally forgot to celebrate it. God. Caesar says, by the way, last year was the day I decided I wanted to do voiceover work and purchased a USB microphone and reflection shield to start. Well, congratulations on your year anniversary. Look how far you've come since then. Now you have a full studio and a stable of microphones, right? And discovered that those reflection shields don't really work. And just to piggyback off that, I had one too because at the beginning, I didn't know what I didn't know yet. But if you think about the reflection shields, it's sort of like a I don't know, like a partition that sort of surrounds the microphone. Some of them just cover the sides, some cover the top, some cover the bottom, some cover all. You're essentially having to stick your face in a box to get to the microphone. And what it's intended to do is to block the reflections coming from behind and the sides and the top while you're recording. But you're much better off just spending the time to treat the entire space that you're in, right? The places directly around you. Because the shield is good, but it only covers a fraction of your recording space or what could, reflect into the microphone. And when I say reflect, meaning like echo, because your voice is a vibration, right? So if you're speaking, it's going to bounce off of the vibration is going to bounce off everything in your room. So that reflection shield is only going to cover, a part of it, just a piece of it, a fraction of it. So you're better off spending that time and money on treating the room around you. Pamela says, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Pamela. Brian is here. Hey, Brian. I would say it's every other day. Yeah, and again, that's pretty typical in the beginning, but as the confidence grows, that imposter syndrome and the procrastinating, you'll see them fewer and further between, right? It gets slowly replaced by confidence in knowing what you're doing. Caesar says, I'll have to say that my biggest problem is that whenever I feel like I've made a mistake, I am incredibly harsh with myself. Most of this, or much of this, comes from my former work environment, and I had to train myself out of it. There was so much I learned over the last couple of years starting over, but mostly that I have to give myself more credit and understand that I'm valuable and that I matter. Beautiful, Caesar. Beautiful. And to your point to this first half here, when you make a mistake, and this is also part of positive reframing. And if you haven't noticed by now, if you've watched me more than one or two videos, you'll see that I look at everything through a positive lens. You have to, because that helps to defeat fear and imposter syndrome and self-doubt, right? If you instead of looking everything as a negative or a potential negative, like a challenge or a mistake, if you look at it as instead of a mistake, it's a learning opportunity because you learned something valuable from making that mistake. And if you didn't make that mistake, then you wouldn't know that it was wrong or not going to help you in some way, shape, or form going forward. So then you learned something valuable and not doing that again. So it's not a mistake, it's a learning opportunity, right? And that's what I mean when I say positive reframing. So everything that you see or say, even to yourself, self-talk is the most important thing, right? So instead of saying that, well, I guess that's pretty much what I just said with the mistake, right? So instead of saying, I hate myself for making this mistake, you can say, what a great learning opportunity. I'm so glad that that happened because now, yeah, I might look silly or unprofessional to someone, but I can apologize and say, you know what? I overlooked that. I'll fix that right now. And then you've learned something valuable in not doing that again, right? Positive reframing will help you so much if you just give it some time. And then also the self-talk, right? I suck. I can't do this. Yet, right? Make sure that you add the yet in there when you're talking to yourself. I don't suck. I'm learning. I'm going to get better. I am getting better, right? I don't know how to do this, or this person is so much further ahead. I'll never be in their position. Yet I have to remind myself that I'm 5-6 years behind this person that I'm learning from, and that they started in the same exact place that I did. You have to remember that part. You can't compare yourself to someone who is so much further ahead in their journey than you are. It's not fair to yourself. You can't do that. And remember also that that person that you're learning from also started in the exact same place that you did, probably with less information and less help than you did, because there's more readily available now than there was even back then for them, right? So you actually have it a little bit easier. But positive reframing is definitely important. It's something that really, really helped me in my mindset. I think with all of the meditations, I recorded a ton of hypnosis this morning. And you know what it was all about? It was all about procrastination, which is so funny. So I know that it's a problem for a lot of people. I think we all procrastinate based on, self-doubt and fear and all of those things. So it's really, really helped me in looking at everything in a positive way, and it helped me grow and achieve, I think, where I'm at today. So give it a try. Brainster Corner English says, "Wow, as if you are in my head. I am in your head. When you close your eyes tonight, you will hear my voice in your head telling you to think of everything in a positive manner. Say only positive things to yourself. Do that too. That's also the positive reframing. Never talk about yourself in a negative way. Always talk to yourself in a positive way. Try it." Brian says, "Good morning." Good morning. Caesar, oh, that was the second half of what he was saying. Dylan brought the donuts. Thank you, Dylan. Oh, my stomach doesn't growl. It's been growling for the last hour. Brian says that's 5-second rule is Mel Robbins. The 5-second rule? Oh, the one it's counting to 5 and then act? Well, there you go. I'm sure it's not like an unknown thing. I wasn't trying to blow your minds with new information. It's little things like that that maybe you haven't heard before or maybe haven't thought about doing that, I wanted to share in case you hadn't heard of it or tried it yourself. I'm sorry. Skipped over. Sorry, Kara. Good morning. Good morning, Kara. Glowen is here. Hey, Glowen. Hello, VO Angela and chat. Hope your coffee is hot. It's not. It's more like tepid, but it's still coffee. I'll take it. Facebook user says overwhelmed by the end of the day. Well, yeah. Yeah, I think usually by the end of the day, I'm pretty overwhelmed too. It's usually in the morning and then in the afternoon, I'm overwhelmed. Like I get into the studio and I go, "Oh my gosh, I've got so much to do today," and I'm a little overwhelmed and stressed out. And then as I start to get things accomplished, I start to feel better, and then more stuff gets put back onto my plate for the next day. So overwhelmed again. And I have found in that respect for the overwhelm and fighting overwhelm is uh again having for me anyway is having an agenda book, right? And I have them on my website under the VO gear tab, all the stuff that I recommend. That daily planner that's on there is what I use every day, and I've gone through probably a dozen or more of them already. But they're nice because they have nice big blocks for each day where you can write, maybe I have to narrate chunks of this book, chapters 1 through 5. And then the next day you can say edit chapters 1 through 5 and then just kind of keep track of everything in chunks. If you have big projects, if you have little projects, put them on there too. That way you can allot a specific time to get those done. So big projects get chunked down into smaller bits and written down each day, right? And then smaller projects can also be added to there too. That way you can see everything that you have to get done in the day. And if you can't, then it goes down to the next day, if you can. And then I tell you the satisfaction of taking my pen and crossing through something done, crossing through the next thing that's done, that helps me mentally with seeing that something is done. It's off my plate. It's on my plate, on my daily agenda for that day. Now it's off. Now that's off. And now that's done, right? It helps my mental state tremendously to do that. It's so gratifying to do that. So that is one thing that can definitely help you with overwhelm. Also, making sure that if you're on sites like Upwork or Fiverr, namely Fiverr, where you have a ticking clock for every order, make sure that your gigs are created with enough time to get the job done. So for some of you that I've seen where your gigs reflect a single day delivery, I highly recommend extending that out to 2 days as a basis. That's your base gig, at least 2-day delivery. And then every additional word count gives you an extra day, right? Maybe a smaller additional word count gives you an extra day. So you have ample time to get these things done because it's happened many, many times before. And if you've been on Fiverr for a little while, then you know it could go from 0 to 60 pretty quick when Fiverr starts to promote you on a higher page, right? Or they promote your gig when you're in that flow rather than the ebb. So giving yourself that ample time to get these things done is really going to help too. So scheduling your time wisely, time management, right? With the agenda book, those things will help you with overwhelm and also reaching out to your community for help when you need it. Again, if you're an audiobook narrator and you find yourself, you have one audiobook and you're getting it done, everything's great. And then out of the blue, you get 2 offers for 2 more books and you go, oh my gosh, how am I going to get these done? Reach out to your community for help in either advice or help with proofing, help with editing, help with, mastering and then maybe finishing. You do the narration, they do the editing and the mastering for you. These people are out there. So that's another reason why community is so important. And we actually do that in our Platinum group. We have people that make themselves available to help out other members. It's awesome. And I highly recommend that you get into a group or a community that can help you in that respect. Tangent number 3. Stop it. It is definitely a tangent for sure. I am chock full of them today. Okay. Got a little bump of caffeine. Renee says, hardly ever for me because I am retired and it's a great hobby for me. Well, that's great. That's fabulous. Good for you. What a great hobby. Writer Dude says, exercises such as Wheel of Emotions or Roulette Read come easy for me. The mock audition I just turned in for nonfiction was not easy. I kept overthinking it. And that is why we do all of the different things that we do in the group, trying to get everyone to not only step outside of their comfort box and to try new things, but it sort of gets you focusing on all the different aspects of voiceover and audiobook narration. And I think a lot of us tend to navigate towards nonfiction as a start because there isn't a whole lot of dialogue and a whole lot of plot. It's mainly informational, right? And therefore a little bit easier in the beginning. But some people, it's the opposite way. Some people find the fiction to be easier. So getting everybody a little taste of everything is the way I like to roll. And for those of you that don't know, the Wheel of Emotions and Roulette Read, those are some of the things that we do in my Platinum group and our weekly meetings. If you want to join my Platinum group, I highly recommend it. The price is relatively low for what I offer, for what we offer, because we're a collective of people who care and understand and support and offer so much through this group. You can find it on my website, voiceoverangela.com. It's called the Platinum Group. I hope you consider joining. The more, the merrier. And you don't have to be, I get this question a lot about if you need to be at a certain level as far as experience or how long you've been in this to join my Platinum group. And you don't. We have people from all walks, all stages, all levels, all experience levels. So if it's something that you want to do, I highly recommend go and check it out. Glowin says, I stress weekly because I haven't done a thing in over a month VO related due to my job promotion and the massive time I put in. Yeah, that would definitely be a damper, wouldn't it? But keep at it. And congratulations on that job promotion. Oh, speaking of which, I had just been accepted by Fiverr to be a Fiverr trainer. So hopefully in the next week, I'll have more information about this new program that they're launching. And because we have our webinar Thursday. So I'll have more information about it next week. So if that's coming, so if you are new to Fiverr and if you don't reach out to me individually, for help or advice or whatever, that this program is coming. So even if you're not in voiceover, I think the trainers are going to be for all the different categories. So at some point, you'll be able to hire somebody on Fiverr through Fiverr to help you. It's like a mentorship for like 3 months to help get started and to start building your gigs and to help you get some more business. So that's kind of a cool program, and I'm officially in, so kind of exciting. Caesar says, Facebook user is Colette, of course. Woohoo, spelled it right the first time. I figured it was Colette, but I didn't want to assume, because you know what happens when you assume, right? I don't want to do that. Renee says, I can see you in Facebook. Okay, good. Good, okay. I haven't logged back in yet, so I don't know if it's working for me, but I'm glad that I'm there. Michelle is here. Hey, Michelle. As you know, I reach a point where I feel stagnant. I find it's easier to look at where I have been and where I am now. I set new goals to keep myself motivated and moving forward. Good. Goals are another great way. If they are time-specific goals, those will definitely help you keep motivated, especially if you have a little something to give yourself when you achieve that goal. It has to be something that you enjoy, like, I don't know, maybe you have a little mini bottle of champagne, or maybe you go buy that book if you're a book nerd like me. You allow yourself a $30 shopping spree at Barnes & Noble or something, right? Have something to gift yourself when you reach that goal. And it has to be time specific. So you have, until X date or next Monday, or you have 5 days to get this done, right? Another great way to keep you motivated to keep going. Joya is here. Hey, Joya. Facebook is in the process of an update, and you need to relog back in on some devices. My mom just called me crying over this. Interesting that Facebook went down. David Smallridge is here. Hey, David. I am working on starting this endeavor. Still need the right tech and office to perform. Started a setup in my home office that needs soundproofing. My ADHD is kicking that can down the road. Yeah, well, keep at it. Keep at it, David. Dylan says, I feel overwhelmed when I try breaking into anything other than audiobooks. They bring in enough money to keep going, but I really want to do shorter form stuff like commercials or animation. You have a great voice for that. I would definitely do that. Is it because when you say you're trying to break in, are you really trying, or is it something that you're holding yourself back for, like, the future because you're focusing on audiobooks, or is it because you're not seeing any traction for these yet? Bear338 says, the YouTube rabbit hole is deep, deep, deep. My personal advice list is 1, Angela, 2, Steve Blum, and 3, Bill DeWeese. Definitely Bill DeWeese. I'm not really familiar with Steve Blum, maybe the name, but I know his face. I'm not sure, but Bill DeWeese for sure. He's got a lot of great information. He's a legend. Caesar says to Dylan, you can break into both. By animation, do you mean like animation voices or like actual animation? MG Stevens says, good morning, Angela and everyone. Just got here. Hope somewhere else is later. I forgot the donuts. I think all small business owners feel like this because we are the decision maker, challenging and fun. And that is the perfect description of a business owner. We are not only the major decision maker, we have to make all the executive decisions that could affect us positively or negatively, right? And it's scary to do that, to make that decision. But you have to make it. You have to do it one way or the other. You can't allow yourself to sit and just wonder, okay, well, what's going to happen if I say I don't want to do this? Or what's going to happen if I say that I do want to do this? And not only that, but you have all the other hats associated with the business, right? You have to be the accountant. You have to be the marketing director. You have to be the talent. You have to be the manager. You have to, all of these things, the website administrator, everything. And then on top of that, you have to make all the decisions. Challenging and fun, for sure. Dylan says to Caesar, animation voices. I can't draw to save my life unless you want some sweet stick figures. People make a lot of money. Have you ever seen the Henry Stickmin video game? There you go. Blonda says, good evening from Croatia. Well, welcome. Thanks for joining us from Croatia. Welcome, Blonda. MG Stevens says, makes me think of Thomas Edison's famous quote, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that it won't work. And look what he accomplished. We're getting there on our own timetable. Absolutely. Beautifully stated. Caesar says to Dylan, I would love a sweet stick figure. Draw me one like your French girls. Dylan says, I want it. Caesar says to Dylan, hilarity aside from what I've heard from you, you do have the versatility and personality to voice a character. He absolutely does. And remember, not all characters have to sound different from your voice. I think 9 out of 10 characters that I've recorded have been this voice. So even just your normal speaking voice can be a character. I'm actually recording one today, a scratch track for a potential character in a brand new video game. And it's going to be just this voice because my voice was what he needed for a character, right? Bear338 says, Angela is always in your head, LOL. Well, mine anyway, keeping me moving forward in a positive and sometimes firm way. I am stubborn. Good. I hope it's positive and firm because it needs to be. Sometimes you just need a kick in the pants, and I'm hoping I can be that kicker. If that's what you need, I will do it. Christine Me says, afternoon. I thought Mel too when I heard that. Positive stuff gets around, and it should. We should spread it further. We should be spreading it every day to everyone that we can spread it to. Caesar says, outside of audiobooks, I reckon the other industries I'd like to break into are music, character voices, radio drama style formats. I reckon that's where the overwhelm may potentially come in. For sure. For sure. I think we should maybe touch base on our Platinum Group radio drama that we're doing. We should touch base on that again. Dylan says, thank you, Caesar. Right now, the issue is my profiles on Fiverr and Upwork still need to work. Well, I think in March, we're doing Fiverr gig reviews again in the group. So we'll take a look at that. Bear338 says, my goal board has been life-changing. Good goal boards. Big and in your face, right? So you see them. Eric's here. Nothing to add today, just morning. Morning, Eric. Bear338 says, love the Platinum Group. Good. I'm glad you love it. I love the Platinum Group too. Dylan says, join the Platinum Group. We're kind of awesome. We're a little bit more than kind of awesome. I think we're totally awesome. We rock. Damon Ray says, hey, Angela, thanks for all you do. Very slowly getting some traction on Fiverr, finally from the UK. And that's typically how it goes, right? Because as far as everybody seeing you for the first time, you're kind of an unknown. So some people will give you a chance. Some people will prefer to work with established people. But the people that will give you a chance will help you to build and grow. So if you're a seller on Fiverr and you're starting to get those first initial bites on your gigs, make sure that you cherish that customer. Be kind, courteous, and polite every time, regardless of what's happening. Even if the customer's being rude and harassing, I mean, say no thank you politely, and then you can block them if you want to. But just keep in mind that if you want to get to the point of being a top-rated seller on Fiverr, Fiverr takes into account every interaction, just about, like how well you've treated your clients over the course of your tenure on that platform as a whole. So make sure that you're being polite and professional with everyone. And take good care of your current clients, because word of mouth, the referrals, right? That private survey that they get after the order is done, all of that stuff will matter tremendously. Caesar says, I joined Platinum as a relative neophyte. Excuse me. My studio wasn't even built, but I had enough to at least remove the worst of the echo in my office, which eventually became my studio. And an impressive studio it is, Caesar. I can't believe you did all of that in 1 year. That's insane. Christine says, cool week going there. Nice job. Colette says, I'm interested in learning Fiverr. I think you should, Colette. I think you should. Brainster says, Facebook and Instagram went down. Yeah, is it? I'm assuming it's back up now. I know it was down for like a half an hour or something or more today. Is it back up now? Joy says, hello, everyone from Southfield, Michigan. Hello, Joy. Caesar says, for my YouTube rabbit hole, I also have Booth Junkie. Booth Junkie is a good one. I love that guy. I love Mike Delgadio. And Podcast Stage, which might be why I'm drowning in gear, probably. It's hard to resist. And you're like, oh my God, that's magical. I need that. Caesar says podcast stage usually releases a fresh review right after Angela's Tuesday Live. So I'm right there going, say, that looks like something I need. Dylan says, are you really trying to break in? Of course. Well, I don't know if that came out quite right, but I guess what specifically was holding you back, I suppose. Maybe probably not as hard as I should be. Why do you have to hold a mirror up to me like that? Because that's my job. That's my job. If I can do anything to help you guys get past your own barriers, then that is what I'm going to do. If you need me to say, hey, knock it off, let's go, then I will be that person. If you want me to be that firm-handed mom, I'm going to do it. And I'll be your cheerleader too, whatever you need. Both. The firm-handed mom cheerleader. I'll do it. Wendy's here. Hey, Wendy. Hey, guys, late but here. I'm with Dylan. Feel very constrained and overwhelmed with the Fiverr Upwork process. I think the time issued is a dread response and not a hooray response. Yeah, but again, you will never know unless you just do it. I think for you, Wendy, for your sound right now, everything that you have at your fingertips right now, the way that everything is sitting, I think now is the time for you to just get out there because you already had the talent. Your talent is just mind-boggling. Now that your quality, the sound quality is down, get out there. Get out there like yesterday. And we will definitely review more Fiverr and Upwork stuff. And again, Fiverr this week in our Platinum group. So make sure that you're there, take some notes, and we'll help you build your Fiverr profiles. Writer Dude says, I think something most of us are taught is that you must get it right the first time in whatever you do, a class, a test, a business, a job, etc. If you make too big of a mistake, you will ruin your chances at success. That is very true. That is very true for anything that we do, right? But a mistake is a mistake. I mean, we're human. We make them. We're just inherently going to. It's just a human thing. So we can't hold ourselves back for just being human. And if we ruin our chances at success, then we start over. Right? It sucks, but I mean, it's not like you're never going to be able to do this ever again. You make a boo-boo and it's a boo-boo you can't recover from, then you say, okay, well, let's start over. Because if you already have all the equipment, all the stuff, just start over, right? I am Paximus. Hey, Paximus, how you doing? Good morning, Angela. How are you today? I am fabulous. I work many hours throughout the week, but I'm trying to stick to the game plan I made for myself to get to audiobook narration. Slowly, but moving along. Good. As long as it's forward progress. It doesn't matter how slow it is. As long as it's forward, even like as a turtle runs, crawls, walks, turtles. If you're moving forward at the pace of a turtle, it's still forward. Doesn't matter how slow it is. It's still forward. It's still the right direction. Joy says, speaking of things to break into, I would love to break into dubbing more. So far, I only dipped my toes in it. Dubbing takes more time, especially if you're not only dubbing, but trying to like lip sync. That is difficult because you have to have the video screen of the person that you're dubbing and then your voiceover. And you might have, it takes a lot of practice and a lot of redoing. Sometimes it's a little bit more tedious than normal voiceover. Caesar says to Writer Dude, I feel you there. That mindset is unfortunately incompatible with our industry. So much of it is either experimental, subjective, or cannot be learned until you make the first mistake. Beautifully stated, Caesar. Masonry Construction says, while I do shun AI voices, as do thinking VO people, AI has a lot of help for writers, for research, but also for creating videos and other images for those of us unable to draw stick figures. And to that point, I posted, I think it was yesterday, in my Platinum Group Discord about the email I got from Voice123, the CEO of Voice123. He was saying that he was They're starting to initiate there was a tool that can help like imprint digital security. I forget exactly how it was phrased, but basically it protects anything that we upload to Voice 123 from being misused or duplicated, or any potential issues with it in the future, anyone else using our content without our permission. So I'm hoping that new step forward, I hope that other people, other platforms take note of this and start implementing this as well. It's a great way to, keep the talent that you already have there happy, and to entice new talent to your site if you're able to provide them a way to protect their voices from anybody, any client using that platform. Bear338 says, Booth Junkie is why I am poor. Just kidding. Kind of. David says, can you point to levels of tech needed? I started doing some tracks on my iPhone, purchased basic tech, joining ACX. What are some rudimentary things to do as a start a groove? I would say, David, I have a lot of videos here on my channel that go through all the different, there's so many variables involved. It would take me a couple hours to explain it all here. But if you go through my catalog, namely for audiobook narration, the playlist for audiobook narration, there's a ton of stuff there as far as basic equipment, getting started on ACX, choosing your DAW, all of the things. So I would definitely recommend doing that. But there's so many variables that I wouldn't be able to cover right now in the next 15 minutes. Wendy Merritt, you sound beautiful and interesting. I think this is still Colette. Yes, Wendy, you are beautiful and interesting. Caesar says the audiobook format is probably the industry with some of the most stringent requirements, so it's nearly impossible to get into without stumbling at least once. So getting it right the first time is tough, and we have no other choice but to learn as we go. No chances are truly ruined. So many avenues to go to when it comes to audiobook work. Absolutely. Absolutely. Angel says, what is the Platinum Group? I don't know at what point you posted this question, but the Platinum Group is a group that I host through my website. So if you go to my website, voiceoverangela.com, the Platinum Group, right now it's still $20 a month, but with that we meet every Thursday night, and we sort of gamify fun learning things, right? Like the roulette read, the wheel of emotions. We go through Fiverr gigs. We review all kinds of different stuff and have a lot of fun doing it. Not only that, but then you also have our group Discord, which is only for our Platinum Group, where you can almost find a member there at any time of day or night and ask a question. You can share your successes. You can watch other people work live. There's all kinds of like learning events that we have, technological gurus on there helping people with their DAWs and things. It's probably one of the best things that I've ever done was create this group. And I'm so proud of everybody in it. But it's a group of like-minded people at all different levels of experience and talent. And we get together and we just become this force, and it's just amazing. I'm going off on another tangent, but if you're looking for a community to be involved with, and then also be part of weekly educational mastermind type like meetings, I would highly recommend checking it out. Also with that, I forgot to mention the other things. You also get a library of scripts to practice with and make demos with. I have ebooks and planners. I have my blog. I have many challenges that you can do. So there's a lot of other stuff that comes with it. But I think the meetings are the most impactful thing of being part of our group. That was the second half of Caesar's comment. My cup of tea says, good morning, all. Whoever shared that they had a good goal board is helpful advice. I think that was Brian. And whoever shared that Thomas Edison quote, thank you as well. Absolutely. I think that was MG. Writer Dude says to Caesar, most success stories I have read about people who have succeeded in an industry with a business, etc., have built their success of many failures. Of course, because we don't know what works and what doesn't until we try. And if it's a failure, then we know not to do that again. All right. Writer Dude, just not easy to keep that in mind. Put it on a board, put it on a sticky note, and then put it on your monitor and remind yourself, just look at it at multiple points throughout the day. That'll help you to remember. Caesar says to list only a few things to pay attention to with audiobooks: room reflections, noise control, sibilance, cadence, enunciation, and so much more. You'll get one or more wrong before you get it right. You might get all of them wrong, but you won't know that you need to fix it until you try. And then you can fix it, and then you move on to the next thing. And then once you have everything kind of figured out, then you move on to the next thing, right? There's always something to learn and grow and improve upon. Caesar says to Writer Dude, very true, very true. Why do we fall, Master Wayne? Angel, it's fabulous, Colette says, for the Platinum Group. It is fabulous. Everybody in it is fabulous. Wendy says, at Colette, right back at you. Caesar says, Platinum Group is awesome. It taught me to leverage my talents and abilities, and that it's okay to wear pants whenever necessary. Colette says, fail forward to success. Absolutely. Life Darling says, hi, all from Las Vegas. My problem is beginner engineering. I don't want to deliver a paying customer a subpar product. I feel bad to charge for my learning curve. That's why I'm procrastinating. And that is very, very common because we don't know what we're supposed to be doing. We don't know what we need in terms of effects or, editing training. So again, become part of a group that can help you, like my Platinum Group, or hire an audio engineer to show you these things. And watching YouTube videos. There's a lot of people on YouTube that have different videos on editing because, again, there's a few different DAWs that you use for your editing software. So you'll find a bunch of different videos on each different one. So learning and then practicing and then learning new things is definitely going to help you. And what I did in the beginning for myself, because I had the same mindset, I didn't want to charge somebody for, what I didn't know, is that I first started on LibriVox.org. This is where you can volunteer your time to produce sections of audiobooks of books in the public domain or books in their entirety, depending on what you want to do. And through that process, you go through the whole gamut, right? You learn how to narrate, breath control, you learn how to edit, format, and then they give you feedback, right? But after that's done, after you've done a few of those, and then now you're confident in your narration process, your editing process, your mastering, formatting process, then the confidence in going forward to a place like ACX or someplace else is huge, right? That builds your confidence. And then you feel so much better about charging people for your work because now you know in your heart of hearts that you can do it. But I'd say practice, practice, practice. We all started at that place, and you will get better the more that you do it. Dylan says, the Platinum Group is responsible for any success I have had in this industry. Everybody is so willing to share their knowledge and experience. It's the best investment I've made in myself and my career. Dylan, that's awesome. I'm so proud of everybody in that group. I'm so glad that I had that bright idea. I'm so grateful. Tess said, hello from Dracula. I rarely get to join y'all, but glad to be here. I glean so much. Good. I'm glad. And thanks. I know it's not Dracula, but I like to say Dracula. Bear338 says, I say this every week and will continue to do so. Being in a group, even just here, is so necessary, in my opinion. It will keep you going by having like-minded people accept me. Don't be in anyone's head. It is scary there. In your head, it is scary there. Bear says, welcome, Tess. Colette says, wow, Wendy, coming from you, that's a comment I treasure. You guys. Bear says, wait, we have to breathe? Yes. Yes, we have to breathe. Caesar says, is breath control like a spicy subgenre? It could be. I guess there's a spicy subgenre for everything, isn't there? Joy says, Farhad Asadwala said, failures are the stepping stones to success. Absolutely. And Lord knows I have plenty of them. Absolutely. Stepping stones. That's a great way to look at it. Prince says, I can't afford a coach because I've just started out. I'd like to practice more, but isn't it going in circles without feedback? That's why I'm demotivated. And yes, you do need feedback, and you can, even if you can't. And again, my platinum group is like $20 a month. I keep the price low because I was there too. I understand that you don't have a whole lot of capital in the beginning. So that's why I keep the price point where it is. It's not about the money for me. It's about the community and the sharing and the growing and just the awesomeness of this group. But if you're talking like a coach that you meet with every week, a couple times a week, I would say it is expensive, yes, but well worth the investment if you want to get, out of that plateau or out of that place that you're stuck in. And I think for the feedback comment, even joining a group on Facebook, once it's up and running, you can, like a Facebook group like mine, the VO workshop, where I allow you to post demos for feedback from, the other members there. That, all of that, at the very least, will help you to get out of this slump that, we tend to find ourselves in. So that's what I recommend for you, is either joining a mastermind like mine for the platinum group, or at the very least finding Facebook groups where you can not only join and glean information, but also share your demo for feedback so you can move forward, right? Annie says, I'm so glad to be back with this VO community. We missed you too, Annie. I really missed it when I was away. We missed you too, Annie. We're so glad to have you back in Platinum too. Wendy said, Thursday nights is in the Platinum group is the highlight of my week and why I face that mic every day. It's mine too. I love it. Dylan says, if failures are stepping stones, I'm making a freaking patio. Masonry Construction says, success has no value if you do not yet know failure. That's true. That's very true. I love that. You don't know it's success unless you've seen failure first for that point of relativity. You don't know what success looks like until you've failed. I love that. JCCAOL says, I will watch in the recording, but glad I could get in the last minute. I hope you brought donuts. If you're late, you bring donuts. Bear338 says, I look at expenses like coaching as an investment in myself. And it is, because I did the same thing. Everything that you guys are saying and expressing, I've been there too. And I got to the point where I was plateaued, right? I thought I wanted to do everything myself. I didn't need anybody's help because I'm stubborn. And when I got to that plateau, I went, okay, I need a coach. So I reached out and I was like, that's expensive. But in the end, I'm glad that I did it because it got me out of that place that I was stuck in, because I didn't know what I didn't know unless I had someone else telling me, hey, you're doing this, or hey, you need to do this, right? And to help me move along. So it was an investment, but one of the best investments I've made in myself and in my business. So it is an investment, but in my opinion, it's well worth it. Tess said, I have a coach, and much as I love her, I like a group for different opinions and views. Very helpful. Hi, Bear. Yes, varying opinions are definitely helpful because everybody does have a different opinion on how to do things, especially in this industry. You'll hear all kinds of people saying, oh, do this. It's the best thing in the world. And you'll have somebody else hearing about the same topic. Oh, don't do that. If you listen to all of it, some of it you'll take and, apply it to your situation and go, oh, that's the best thing I ever did. Or you just go, maybe not. But if you listen to all of it, you'll be better able to make educated decisions about your own business moving forward. And as far as what to do and what not to do, right? In your opinion. Caesar says, if I had $1 for every time I messed up, I'd have a new microphone. Oh, hey, I do have a new microphone right here. That's like weekly for you. Like your weekly, got to get a new microphone. JCCAOL says, I brought Bismarcks. Got to shake things up a bit. Oh, I'll take them. I would like a croissant. Caesar says, when I was starting out, my wife gave me feedback. The one thing she made me realize is that I had to be myself and not try to be anyone else. That really helped me grow out of my imposter syndrome. We do that too. As soon as we hit that record button, we think that we need to be the narrator, have the narrator voice, and we don't. We have to just be us, right? This is my voiceover. This is me. This is the way that I speak, my unique, manner of speaking, and then my tone and my perspectives and my perceptions of things. You don't have to be anything other than yourself. That's the best thing you can be. Joy says, Angela, I'll be at VO Atlanta Thursday, so I'll miss you all and look out for the feedback on my mock audition. I know this will be a learning experience. Well, good for you. I am missing out on VO Atlanta this week because, as some of you know, I have a wedding to plan. So some of these extra things that I would love to do this year are going to have to be on the back burner, unfortunately. But I am planning on going next year. So hopefully I'll see you all there next year. But that's awesome, Joy. I'm very proud of you for taking that step and making that investment in yourself and in your business. You guys are going to have to tell me all about it next week. And speaking of next week, that is when I'll be back again with another live Q&A community chat session. Blah, blah. But I have got to go. I am just jam-packed. I have more stuff to do. I got to go. But I will see you all next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Take care and remember to reframe your positive thinking or into positive thinking. I'll see y'all next week. Bye. Thank you for listening to She Lancer Mom Entrepreneur with VoiceOver Angela. That's me. For more information about me, visit my website, voiceoverangela.com, or hop on over to my YouTube channel, VoiceOver Angela. Again, thanks for listening. Have a great day.